it is correct ukuthi our current constitution as it stands, it does not recognize kings. We still have chiefs who run izigaba, and those chiefs are appointed by the government into those positions. So that position, Yona, is correct. So what is happening, I believe, with the Khumalo family, the Matabeleland issue, this is not a new issue. It has been there since a long time ago, even in the 1990s. They've been lobbying for the recognition or restoration of the pre-colonial traditional leadership that was there. So what is happening, if you take characters like Bulelani ka Lobengula, they are lobbying for the restoration of that office of a king. So currently what's happening is advocacy and lobbying, though we don't know the extent of the powers of the king, if he is to be restored, his roles and responsibilities. So such issues must come out even more clearly to the public. Ukuthi nxa kuyikuthi si restore ubukhosi, sibu restore ngandlela bani, inkosi iba lamandla aphi. So ungakhangela kathesi our current traditional leadership, we inherited the colonial office of a chief, because the office of a chief evolved after we got colonized. It became an institution of government. Ama chief became an extension of the colonial government of the day, and they were given certain roles and responsibilities and salaries by those leaders at that time, or by the colonial government at that time. Then when we get into independence, we simply continued with that practice. The difference being that now it was a black government taking over that role and continuing with it. We have Ama chiefs that were chiefs because of the bloodline. Then we have Ama chiefs who were appointed by colonial governments who had nothing to do with culture or bloodline or a history of being born in a family of chiefs. So the question is, when we got independence, what did we do with the office of traditional leadership? Did we have a conference to sit down to say, how do we marry the two, a modern government and traditional leadership? What roles should each party play? But it would seem we just continued with that and placing our chiefs under a government ministry. And up to today, chiefs are appointed. Their government appointees to be more specific. Minister of local government, nxa engaku-endosanga as a chief, engaku-anointanga as a chief, then you cannot be one. So those are issues that cultural groups must be addressing and dealing with and lobbying on. So uzathola ukuthi even when we're preparing for the constitution, whether it was the 2000 constitution and then or this one 2013, people still raised those issues. Ukuthi they wanted a restoration of traditional leadership in a way that it was in the pre-colonial days. And then you find ukuthi the constitution now has sections that are emphatic ukuthi people should be allowed to exercise their cultures, their traditions, and all that. So that is where we are now. If there are to be any changes to say we are going to introduce kings and all, that have always been there throughout the country. What criteria will be used and all, and how will government do that? Will they amend the traditional leadership, the act that deals with appointment of traditional leaders to incorporate kings? And if they are to be incorporated, what roles are they supposed to play? So that is where we are as a country. These are issues that should have been resolved in 1980 or the first 10 years of our independence going forward. But we still have not addressed and resolved those issues like other countries around us who are very clear about it. Some have kings and the kings have limited powers. If you look at South Africa, they have that system. Then you have others which are absolute monarchs like Eswatini or Lesotho and all. Though, of course, that I don't think it would work in the Zimbabwean context because of a lot of reasons, political, social, liberation struggle, and all those things, and the objectives that we had. Watching him